everybody. Hey, how are everyone today? Or should I say, how is everyone today? I kind of mixed my verbiage up there, didn't I? So, what's everybody been doing? I went to the doctor today, the heart doctor. I am alive. I am doing well. I was so excited. My test came back good. Now all I have to do is go for a cholesterol test to see if they need to change my cholesterol medicine. But everything is so good. I was so excited. I was nervous. I was a nervous Nelly. I'm telling you, I was. Okay, so now, we're going to talk about a few different things today. You can talk about whatever you want in chat. Just please do not mention any other creators' names and state if it's your opinion. I don't care what you say. I really don't. I need to go in really quickly and change my time for my subscribers because I do have it on like you got to be a sub for 20 minutes and I don't need to have it there at that much time. I only did that the other day when there was somebody on my panel. So let me see. Oh no, that's the wrong one. That is the wrong one. All right, hang on. I got to find it. I thought that was it. Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. I am looking. Why am I looking for something? There it is. Okay, subscribers. We'll stay with 5 minutes. I'll leave it at 5 minutes. Okay, so let's get H. Davis. H. Davis. Hey, Wee, good to see you, darling. How are you? What time is it there? Is it in the middle of the night there? Are you getting ready for dinner? Stein Eric asked me what my time difference was between here and Norway. I'm like, I don't know. Hey, mother of a legend, 444. So we are going to be talking about a few different cases. I am going to kind of try to update a little bit on Michael Vaughn. I've been meaning to do that for a while. I have nothing but total respect for Brandy. That family is a tremendous, tremendous asset to that little boy. And I hope that he is found soon. Oh, it's 7:06. I'm going to go. I got to get some hot coffee. My coffee's cold. I'll be right back. Oh my gosh. Hey, little Deb. We're also going to be talking about, I believe she's 27 years old or was 27 years old. And she lived like in a group home. And law enforcement came and they had her outside tied to a chair. And it wasn't soon after that, like a week or two, they had to come back because she had passed away. Really weird, but we're going to get into that story too. For sure, for sure. But H. Davis, You came on my channel last time I was live. I think it was the last time I was live, and talked about you and Auntie Sherry having a problem. Now, this is the comment that you left me right here after I did the live. Me and Auntie are good now, but you wasn't good. You were not good, my friend. I don't understand that. It became a big issue. But you know me. You guys kiss and make up and stop it. Stop it. Okay, first we're going to talk about a case that I had pulled up and I meant to talk about. Now, this is in Harlan County, I think. Let me see. All right, so this guy here, they got him for abuse of a person who's not alive. Okay, so I'll just read it to you. A Virginia woman was found unalived at the scene of what first appeared to be a single vehicle crash on Kentucky 160 in the Lynch area of Harlan County on Sunday, April 20th. Sandra Moore, 44, Virginia, was pronounced deceased at the scene by the Harlan County Coroner's Office. Dang, you've been a member for 12 months. Thank you so much, Thank you. I appreciate you, I do. According to the press release, Kentucky State Police Post 10 in Harlan received a report of a vehicle on fire on the KY 160 near the Lynch community. So when the troopers and detectives arrived at the scene, a Toyota vehicle was found on fire and off the roadway and down the mountainside. This woman, Sandra Moore, was in that vehicle. Well, what they found out was that she had been in an altercation with her nephew. I showed you guys his picture. I'll show it to you here again. His name was David Stoneburner, 29, of Appalachia, Virginia. So they had an altercation. He put her in the vehicle, drove her to Kentucky, put her remains in the driver's seat of the vehicle, set it on fire, put it in motion, put it in neutral, and caused it to go over the embankment. Now, he was taken into custody, charged with first-degree abuse of a corpse and arson. Why didn't they get him for anything else? But they're still investigating. So I'm sure that before you know it, he is going to be charged with her red rum also. Now, I can read you the rest of these police reports. All of these people that I'm about to name are charged with substance manufacturing and having it on their person. So if any of these names sound familiar and you can associate them with any case in that area or whatever. So Justin Collette, 35, he was charged with first-degree possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia, failure to use an so he didn't single properly. If you are on a road and you have not good things in your possession, my advice is if you're turning right, turn on the right turn signal. If you're turning left, turn on the left signal. No, I did not see any type of post where any child is up for adoption. I'm sure the children, once the parental rights, once Don and Candace gave up their parental rights, common sense is going to say if they are in state's custody, they are all going to be put up for adoption. Because at the time, guess what? They were living with foster parents. Yeah, well, yeah, you'll have to send it to me in Messenger. Who's, let me ask you this. What Facebook group is it under? That's all I need to know. Why would they? Look how old he is now, right? What was he, 13? 12 or 13 when Summer went missing? So he'd be about what, 17 now? 16, 17, almost 18? Well, I bet his parents feel like shit. Maybe not, right? Why in the world would they post that on Facebook? I don't know, girl. But feel free to send it to me. I'll look at it. I will look at it. For real, for real. Okay, let's get over to Michael Vaughn. And please just be, when I talk about children, I just like for everybody to be respectful in chat. That's just the way I am. But Michael Joseph Vaughn was abducted July 27, 2021. There are 4 named suspects in the abduction of Michael, also known as Monkey. Stacy Wondra, Sarah Wondra, Brandon Shirtliff, and Adrian Lucian. Now, this is under Monkey's Army, which is, I believe, associated with Brandy. I believe this is Brandy's Facebook for Michael. So this says that Stacy and Sarah are in prison on unrelated charges. So is Stacy Wondra back in jail? Because he was out of jail. He was going on Justin's and went to a few different channels. Is he back in jail? Fruitland Police Department has publicly stated that these 4 suspects are involved and have knowledge of the abduction of Michael Monkey Vaughn. Fruitland Police Department has also stated that based on evidence, they believe that Michael is not alive and these 4 suspects are involved. I will never forget, I will never forget Brandy begging Stacy Wondra to please just tell her where her son is at. And he kept saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, right? Let me see. Uh, where did they get this, I wonder? What a good-looking kid. I don't want to show his picture because he's not 18. But I guess that's why they have it on here, right? How sad is that? What the heck? So you can just fill out this form. I will show you guys the form. Fill out this form. Wow. That's crazy. Thank you for sending that to me. Thank you. I hate to show his picture because you guys know. Look. I don't care what anybody out there in YouTube land says and acts like that I'm over here showing people's kids and shit. I'm not. Anytime I've ever showed a video and somebody's kids have been shown, I delete that shit right away or I edit it out. So I don't need to hear it. For real. It's like, stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense, leave me alone. Okay, so, like, does anybody know? Even if you don't come into my chat, if you know if Stacey Wonder's back in jail, can somebody just give me a thumbs up on that or something? Because the last time I seen him, he was going on people's panels. People were paying him to come on their panels. And he didn't tell anybody anything. So here she says that the case has been turned over to Fayette County Prosecutor's Office. They are still looking to bring justice to Michael. She says, our family, our community, our law enforcement, anyone who loves Michael will get justice for Michael. Brandy knows exactly how many days Michael's been missing. How heartbreaking is that? But I thought that they were close to arresting them. She's saying there are also people who support and protect these suspects and are believed to also know of details of what happened on and around July 27th, 2021. Wow. And Brandy does want this stuff shared out. So I will try to get this onto my community tab. For sure. That scares me that they put Josie out on Facebook like that. And I'm going to tell you why. Look how many creepy people have inserted themselves into the Summer Wells case. What if someone tries to adopt Josie for the wrong reasons, only because they want to find out about his sister? That thought is there. It is there. One thing I want to see, though, wow, that's kind of crazy, right? I wonder how somebody found that. Josie likes playing video games and gaming on his phone. He loves basketball and frappuccinos at McDonald's. He also enjoys being in the woods and out in nature and loves animals. That's scary to me. That is scary to me. What a handsome guy, right? Handsome kid. Oh, you don't have to be sorry for anything. It's sad, isn't it? It is very sad that the thought of someone, you know, I know, but he's underage. He's underage. And I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'd have to think about it only because I wouldn't be playing it on my channel uh for someone to adopt him. I would be playing it on my channel for selfish reasons because of his sister. And I don't, that is a fine line right there, isn't it? I'm sure there's a lot of people gonna play it on their channels, and to each their own. They can do that if they want to. They really can. There are people out there that, oh yeah, remain calm's talking about kids. I am talking about children. I will continue to talk about children. Absolutely. If they are missing, I will be showing their picture. I will be talking about their cases. I don't care who likes it and don't like it. It ain't nobody's business. If people don't like what I'm talking about, if people don't like that when I research something and I monetize it through YouTube and run ads on it, if people don't like that, I don't know what to tell them. I don't. There's nothing I can say or do. So, to each their own. If I'm the big topic of conversation, then I'm the big topic of conversation. I really don't care. I don't care. Okay. So, one thing that interested me on January 16th of this year, there was something leaked. Someone leaked some footage that wasn't supposed to be out. I'm not sure what it was, but I'm going to find out. So there was a video that they are saying wasn't supposed to be out there. And I'll show you where I'm getting it. There's a whole ad about it. And like I said, this was 16th of January of this year, right? Well, I mean, seriously, I'm sure that there's a bunch of people who want to see that video of Josie and him talking about things that he likes and being adopted. And I completely understand that. And I hope that he finds his forever home if that's what they're trying to do for him. But I truly, if I played it on my channel, it would only be because he's Summer's brother. And I hate to say that, and that may sound horrible for me to say that, but I really don't think that anyone who has inserted themselves into the Summer Wells case, my opinion is, if he's adopted, let him be adopted by a family that isn't just going to use him because of his sister, right? Exactly. We don't know what any of his traumas are. We don't. He's probably a wonderful kid. A wonderful kid. And he's a little bit older, so, you know, I mean, the sad thing about it is there's people already gearing up for June 15th. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. To each their own. You know, I've never said anything about how people make money. That's not on me to say anything about that. There are channels who deal with, you know, scammers and stuff. They deal with that, not me. But I believe that in Michael's case, they're talking about what Justin put out on Clutch Them Pearls. It says for 3.5 years, Fruitland Police Department, other law enforcement agencies, and search and rescue teams, and numerous other entities and individuals have been working to bring home Michael Vaughn. He went missing at the age of 5, having last been seen outside Nery's home in Fruitland in July of 2021. So, you know, the next couple months are going to be it's going to be a high stress level on YouTube. And I don't I don't look. I cannot say in the Summer Wells community, okay? But we've got Summer, who went missing June 15th, 2021, and Michael, who went missing in July of 2021. So, you know, it's going to be a couple of very high stress months for some individuals on YouTube. The case is still under investigation, and the Payette County prosecutor has been working since July on putting together a prosecution team and preparing for the next steps. There are 4 suspects named in Michael's disappearance: Sarah and Stacy Wondra, Adrian Lucian, and Brandon Shurtleff. Since the case has been under investigation, there is not a lot of information that has been made available to the public. This includes how the police wound up searching for Michael in the backyard of Stacy and Sarah Wondra's residence. On January 15th, a 2-part video was purportedly released to the public by Michael's mother and Justin, as we know, Clutch My Pearls. Officer worn body cam footage shows Stacy Wondra on a FaceTime video with Fruitland police. They are pressing him for various details and information while searching for Michael's remains at the Wondra home. Wondra at that time was in custody on unrelated charges. I can pull those charges up and we'll see what they are. Okay. They never found anything in that backyard. But they do believe that Michael was in that backyard and what do you mean? I don't even know you, Pink Bo Birdo. So you don't need to be in here. Yeah, I understand that you probably don't care about missing children. And I'm good with that. I mean, I don't care where you go, who you blow, or anything. What? Talking about a missing child, talking about them having charges. What? You're fucking stupid. You can go bye-bye. I don't even know you. Go where they know you and where they care about you, because I don't care about you over here. Okay? So, anywho, let me get back to this. Okay, so they didn't find Michael, of course, but they do believe that he was moved. So the body cam footage that was released, they said that the sheriff's office mistakenly released the body cam footage to the public. Now, you can go over to Brandy's YouTube channel, and she does have that over there. If you go to Facebook and you go to Michael's Army, I believe Brandy has it over there. That is what where I found it. And I played it here on this channel before, right? I played it here on this channel before. So and that was really sad. But they said that the video wasn't supposed to be out there. There ain't much that anybody could really do about it because, you know, what they were worried about was somehow the video hindering the investigation somehow. And, you know, I don't know if it could. I'm not law enforcement, so I don't know. But you can go to find Michael at fruitland.org to email a tip. Also, Crime Stoppers, right? You can also go over to JLR. JLR will absolutely, he's got where he talked to one of the persons of interest. I've showed that on my channel too. So this is just sad. But yeah, is Stacy Wondra in jail again? I can pull it up. Let me pull it up. I'll find out. But yes, thank you for sending me that on Josie. I'm sure somebody had put it out. But like I said, that's pretty sad. Pretty sad. I truly hope that those boys find nothing but complete happiness no matter where they go. But you have to remember too, he's getting old enough, and in a lot of places, 18 years old, they age out of the system. And a lot of time when some of these children who are not adopted and they're 18 and the system just lets them go, they have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to go. Why aren't the other boys on there? I guess that's one of the questions I would ask. Why don't the other two boys have it up, right? For real. You guys, I don't even know who Pinkbo Birdo is, so not anybody that needs to be over here, for sure. He can go back to wherever, or is it a girl? Is Pinkbo Birdo a girl or a guy? I don't know. I really don't care. So, can go back to wherever, wherever, whatever. Okay, so do you think they could be covering up for the boys? Oh, I don't think so, Teresa. I don't think so. I mean, because the boys were all underage, right? So if something happened and it was an accident, I don't think that they would have covered that up. But then again, Teresa, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. We've heard a lot of different things. People saying that Don took the oldest to Utah with him, and there were underlying reasons for that, and that's true. Maybe they had already been adopted. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. But I would think, I don't know. I mean, right now, different channels are coming out and saying different things. I like Killer Looks, and I watched Killer Looks, and he was bringing back up, the possibility and allegedly, maybe Don doing something, because of what Don has said. Different things that Don has said led a lot of people to think that there was some weird stuff going on there between him and Summer. I can't say that stuff happened. I wasn't there. I don't know. Do you think they could be waiting on the Otis before they do? No, I don't know, Teresa. I really don't know. That's hard to answer because I don't know why they would wait until he was 18. If they truly thought that any of the boys, I believe they would have already taken care. Law enforcement, I believe, would have already handled that situation. I don't think that they would wait until they're 18 to do anything about it. But then I don't know. I mean, you never know with law enforcement, right? You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know you just don't know. You don't know. But, I don't think, this is just me and my opinion and how I feel. I don't think that I personally have never thought about any of the boys doing anything to Summer. But that's just me. If by chance they, because a lot of people are saying that there was maybe some touchy-feely stuff going on. I don't know. But A lot of times when you have children, and I'm not talking about the Wells case here. I'm talking about in general. When you have young children who are treated inappropriately, I'll say, right? Hey, Poppy girl, treated inappropriately, they will act out and do some of the same things that were done to them. Because a lot of times they don't know no better. They don't know any better. If a child doesn't have anybody in their life to let them know that what was done to them was inappropriate, what possibly could have been done to them was wrong, you don't do that, then they can grow up to know that, no, that should have never been done to me, and that's not something that I want to do to another child or whatever. Harder for older children to be adopted. Yes. Yes, it is. That is something that they always say, that it is harder for an older child to be adopted out. Absolutely, it is. I think it's all sad. It is all sad. It's like every missing child case and exploited child case that I talk about over here is very sad. It's very, very sad, and it's horrific. Horrific. Then you got these adults who are so messed up in their head. I mean, you guys heard Stacey Wondra doing interviews. How can you talk about that stuff just so freely and willingly? Oh, I was going to check to see if he's back in jail. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up. Is Stacey. Because the thing about it is, a lot of times too, what you see is, okay, wait a minute. A lot of times what you see is individuals being arrested on unrelated charges. And then as they're serving time in jail, they, okay, this is March 26th, 2025. So this is new. This is a couple months ago. He was sent to 1 year in prison for violating his supervised release, is what they got him for. So whatever he did, he violated his conditions of supervised release. And this is from, this is a news station. I don't know if I can play this. Let's see. Let's see what pops up here. I will attempt to pull it up so we can hear. Okay. Now, like I said, this is from March 26, 2025. This is a news station called KTVB. KTVB. So, hold on, I got to put my earpods in. Okay. Let me pull this up, you guys. Here we go. Okay. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear it. I gotta speed it up just a little bit. And I might have to stop it a couple times because that's what we gotta do over here. Okay, let's see.
Michael Vaughn's disappearance will spend a year in prison for violating conditions of his supervised release. Stacey Wondra has been in and out of federal custody for a couple of years after pleading guilty to an unrelated gun crime. His wife, Sarah, who is also a suspect, is in prison until at least 2026 on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence unrelated to the Fruitland boys' disappearance.
Okay, so he's in on weapons charges. He is in on weapons charges. Hang on, let me get that off of there. And she's in for aggravated whatever. So for now, at least they know where they're at, right? So I'm sure with Michael's anniversary coming up, there's going to be a lot of different channels talking about Michael too. And, I know Justin and I believe Brandy were pretty close at one point. So Justin's got quite a bit of information and different things like that. So, but there's quite a few other channels that cover Michael Vaughn's case too. Now, with Summer, there are a ton of people that cover Summer's case. I will talk about Summer again, but I don't know to what extent because we don't know anything. We don't know anything at all. So we kind of just grind on the same thing continuously over and over. But absolutely, I mean, when I watched Killer Look's video, that was kind of the narrative. I don't want to say the narrative that he was pushing because he has put out a lot of information. He's did a lot of work on Summer's case and put out a lot of great information and different things like that. But we do have to look at that situation and why we know that in Michael's case, they have those 4 suspects. Obviously, they just don't have the pieces of the puzzle to make arrest. Do you think they're going to tell on each other? Do you think any of them's going to tell on each other? Why would they have taken these are sick people. These are sick, twisted people, for real. And it's just so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. I don't think so either, Poppy. I don't think that Dawn and Candace are ever going to really say anything about each other that's going to put either one of them in jail. I mean, you got to realize too, Candace called law enforcement on Dawn when Jose was there. I'm sure that there was a lot of DV before that. And I mean, the calls have been released. The 911 calls have been released. And Candace got that restraining order. That's when Jose was around. I never seen any paperwork that showed that Candace had ever got a restraining order against Dawn before that. Does anybody remember seeing any? I mean, we can even talk about Jack and Lily case. I am I'm talking about the Wanderers, and I'm kind of mixing 3 different cases in here together. I probably shouldn't have done that, but no, I'm talking about them too. Are they going to say anything that is going to make anything happen? Are the Wanderers ever going to say anything against each other? The thing about it is they can say stuff about each other, but in all 3 of these cases, 4 cases off the top of my head, Sebastian Rogers, Summer Wells, Michael Vaughn, Jack and Lily, they can't be found. They can't be found. It would have to be some pretty airtight information that a prosecutor would be able to take and be able to lay out a case. And that's just my opinion. But before, I don't remember ever seeing a legal restraining order that Candace put out on Dawn until the Jose incident. The Jose incident, Candace filed the restraining order. But then Jose left and Candace dropped the restraining order. Yeah, that's all they've needed the whole time, There's just a piece of the puzzle missing. And this is just the way I feel. I feel that there were so many different people there in that area that were doing illegal things that they don't want law enforcement to know what illegal things they were doing. So maybe they can't really say what they do know, because then they would be telling on themselves for, something that they were possibly doing that may have not have had anything to do with Summer. It may have not have had anything to do with Summer. And it is sad. It is so sad. I hate it that we're coming up on 4 years with Summer. And Sebastian Rogers is older. He's an older child. So you would think that with him being older, he wouldn't be as easy to hide, right? I don't know. I really haven't given my opinion on Sebastian Rogers for a long time. For a long time. For sure. So sad. But we can't say any of them's guilty of anything. It doesn't matter what some of these people from that area come out and say. We can't prove that they had anything to do with what happened to Summer. Now they come out and they talk about each other, you know, and tell everybody about the other one and all kinds of stuff like that. But does it pertain to Summer? You know, Fred Hill said some things that have piqued my interest, but a lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense. They've all come out and said different things like that. But I do hope with Michael Vaughn that law enforcement does get that piece that they need to bring him home. These babies need to be brought home. They need to be brought home. And I know, you know, when some people say Summer needs to be brought home and laid to rest, and people are like, why are you saying that she's unalive? Why are you saying that? What do you know? And I just think that sometimes people misspeak like that. And, you know, because it is true. If she's no longer walking on this earth, she needs to be taken home and laid to rest, as well as all the rest of them. Now, Sebastian case has always scared me to the point he is older. We don't really know what his communications were with anyone on social media. So that's a scary thing. Now, when you look at Michael and Summer, they didn't have driver's license. They didn't have schooling. I don't know if Michael was getting ready to start school. Summer was allegedly, well, I don't even want to say allegedly because she was getting ready to start school. Now, I look at Summer's case differently than I look at Michael's. Michael, well, no, I mean, they both just poof disappeared. They all just poof disappeared. And it's hard to, I don't know. It's really hard to even think about it, really. It really is. But I think I don't know. I don't know. Like, you know, why is everybody from that area fighting with each other and not coming together? And they don't even have to do it on social media. Coming together to try to take whatever pieces they have and put it all together to figure it out. But one thing I'm going to say, and people can agree with me or not, there's no heroes here. There's no, let me tell you guys something. I am not a hero. Talking about these children's cases, I do not feel anything that I ever said has helped except for to keep their names out there, talk about the case, you know, and keep it out there and keep it going. What I have with some, I have more knowledge as far as interviews and different things and with Summer's case because I made that my main case that I was following. I tried to soak up every ounce of information that I could about Summer's case. And I got to a point where I felt that I hit a brick wall. There was there was nothing new or substantial to me out there that I needed to, keep following a lot of it. Because some of it just got to be really silly stuff. Really, really just outrageous, silly stuff. I think that a lot of people did have some great opinions and theories. Some of it wasn't a big deal that these people contacted TBI or FBI or Hawkins County or whoever they contacted. If they thought they knew something that could mean anything, they were calling law enforcement. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of it I felt, and this is just my opinion, if you have something that you feel is relevant or you have a name that you think might interest law enforcement, why would you come out on YouTube and say it? If you truly believe that a certain individual may have something to do with it, why would you come out on YouTube and put these people's name out there? They all have watched different creators in Summer's case. They all did. They were all following different creators in Summer's case. They were listening to everything that was being put out on YouTube. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. She should be celebrated. She should be. They all should be celebrated. But I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I don't know. I usually, when I've been talking about Summer, I've been ending it at the timeline from when they got home. From when they got home. Because it's so muddled after that. It's so muddled after that. We don't really know the timeline. We don't really know the timeline. You have to basically start it from I don't even after she dropped Hunter off. But Lawson did say the boys did see Summer. So so I really don't know. But they all say weird stuff. I mean, they all lived in an environment and was around an environment, and the people that they were around, Don himself talked about, seeing a child in a motel room. The way that Don talked, you could assume that he had been in some type of trafficking situations at some point or another. They all talk like they are aware of those things. They do. We had Marlena telling us what couple of the kids that, they would like. And then you've got Fred who comes out and Ziggy ends up writing to the TBI tip line that, you know, Don and Andy, he put Andy in there, owed money or something, and he was going to be a mediator with these big, you know, substance dealers and for Don, and because he didn't want him to take the boys like what happened to Summer. But then he says, yeah, Summer's name wasn't mentioned as being taken, but you know, it's like make it make sense. Make it make sense. And I, you know, believe me, it ain't none of my business who wants to give Fred money. It ain't none of my business who wants to give Ziggy money. For sure. Or anybody money. That ain't none of my business. Not at all. So it does take some work when you're covering cases to pull it up and try to get at least some of the right information. I just wish they could be found. For sure. Oh, Jeezy. My neighbor's dogs bark all the time. They see some, well, the kids have been agitating them. Kids have been walking down the road agitating the dogs. I went out there and told them to hush up, and they started, no, I don't have any dogs, after Shaylee passed away and then Rainey passed away, I've not gotten any more dogs. I don't want any. I don't want any. I mean, I've got a couple cats, so I don't need another dog. Hell no, then it'd drive me crazy at night, Poppy. They're just little chihuahuas. Usually I give them a treat, and I haven't bought any treats to give them treats lately, so. But yeah, they'll come down through here, and, you know, the kids that just agitate them. These kids here, let me tell you guys something. So they were out there just going off, and these three boys were walking down the road. So I was like, hey, you know, quit barking, calm down, you know, stop it or whatever. Well, the kids started agitating them. And I was like, and I was real nice. I was like, please don't do that. And one of them little kids said, fuck you. I was like, all right. If that's the way you feel, little man, you feel that way. Didn't surprise me, though. It don't matter if you're nice and say please or not. These kids today are out there. Completely out there. I mean, damn. Not nice kids, I can tell you that. I call them ankle biters. Ankle biters. But I haven't covered Sebastian's case for a while either. Only because there's so much nonsense. There's just so much nonsense, you guys. It is so sad. It is so sad. And I don't know why there was so much nonsense. All right, I'm going to, this is on Facebook. And I'm going to show you some of the pictures. Let me find the pictures first. I want to show you guys. Okay. So this is, hang on a minute. Let me make that smaller again. That's not what I was looking for. Holy guacamole. Leave it to me to drop a tab that I needed. This girl's name is Nicolette Lynette Baker. I'm sorry, Nicole Lynette Baker. She's 27 years old. Law enforcement was called and she was found. And I tried to find this story off of Facebook and I couldn't find it. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah. That's the only place that I could find this story was on Long Crime. So I have to be very careful playing the story for you guys. I am going to have to stop it and comment on it. This is a Long Crime sidebar with Jesse Weber. But I do want you guys to hear it so you can get the gist of it. Thank you, Poppy. Thank you. I will pin that, but, you know. Okay. So like I said, you guys, I will have to stop this and comment on it every couple minutes. I have sped it up. Hopefully it's not going too fast. Very sad what this girl went through. Ooh, I love blue pits. I love blue pits. Rainey was a red nose. Oh my gosh, I bet it's beautiful. I bet it's beautiful. Send me a picture. Send me a picture in Messenger, Poppy. I would love to see it. Okay, so let's hear what the story is.
To advocate for herself. And despite pleas from officers on scene that the woman go to the hospital, the owner of the care home where she lived seemingly refused.
Okay, so let me take it back a little bit. I want you guys to see where she was tied to a chair. This girl was tied to a chair outside, and it was cold outside.
Right up in the back of this residence. I mean, I don't think it's right for someone to be tied up to a chair outside when it's cold out.
What you got to understand is the things you use to implement restraint are not even close to legal.
On a chilly night, November 2022, police in Wildwood, Florida found a woman tied to a chair in the backyard of a home.
They had her tied to the chair. They tied her to a flipping chair. And you can see all the ties she had on her. The police had to, oh, well, I still want to see it. I still want to see your puppy. So, 27 years old. Living in a group home. I'm going to have to slow it down a little bit because I know it's kind of too fast for me. Just slow it down one more notch for you guys.
It soon discovered that the woman had developmental and physical disabilities that made it nearly impossible for her to advocate for herself. And despite pleas from officers on scene that the woman go to the hospital, the owner of the care home where she lived seemingly refused.
So they've got her tied out in a chair, and law enforcement wants to take her to the hospital, and the woman who runs the care home says no. No, she did not want her taken to the hospital.
Just days later, some of those same officers returned to the care home, but this time for a death investigation. We are partnering up with our sponsors at...
So they come back and She is no longer alive. She is a beautiful girl. Look how beautiful she is.
Crime, I'm Jesse Weber.
Okay, Jesse, come on.
We're bringing you attorneys with the powerhouse law firm Morgan & Morgan claim that mental and physical disabilities, Nicole Baker was unable to effectively speak, communicate, care for, or protect herself in any way. Quote, she and her family placed their trust in Beyond Expectations LLC and Teresa L. Williams to care for and protect her from harm. The Wildwood police discovered the opposite on November 23rd, when they responded just before midnight to a report from a neighbor that he'd been hearing someone crying for help for several hours.
Several hours she cried for help before the neighbor called. 7 hours too long. Several hours too long.
There's somebody in that car. Like, I think there's someone in there saying help me. Like, and I can't, like, I can understand that they're saying help me, but like I can't distinguish whether it's a male or female or how.
And it's this house, right?
Okay, so he couldn't distinguish who was crying for help. We're going to go through where the police showed up at the house. And there's a reason why I'm going through it like this, you guys. I am commentating on this, so.
All right.
They have to cut her out
I
of
have
the
no clue.
ties.
She's signal phony, I'm thinking. All right, are you okay? All right, I took him off. Okay. I took him off. All right. Here, sit down here.
Oh my goodness, look how skinny she is.
So these officers apparently found.
Oh my gosh, she is so skinny. Oh my gosh. This is horrible. This is so horrible. I'm sorry, Jesse. I really like to hear you talk, but I am commentating on it.
And they were knotted, like the first one was 2 knots on this hand, the second one was 3 knots, and then there was like 4 knots on this hand. Yeah. Her wrist, where the ribbons were, is smaller than her actual. It like made an impression. It was so tight.
So they had her tied up so tight, it was leaving impressions on her arms. And we seen her arms, you guys. She was so skinny. Okay, I want to hear what this worker's got to say for herself. Here she is. She didn't even go inside. She took her little jacket and covered herself with it.
Nicole, how long have you been out here?
My friends are going outside.
Your friends are coming outside?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is, I don't know if I can finish playing this. That is so sad. She said her friends were coming outside, is what she said. My friends are coming outside.
Who's your friends?
I've been outside all week.
All week?
Yeah. Do you want to take me to the hospital?
We're going to have a doctor take a look at you. Make sure you're okay. Okay?
I want something.
I know you do.
She wants to go to the hospital. Her caretaker says no. But she's 27 years old. If she says she wants to go to the hospital, why wouldn't they have taken her to the hospital, whether the caretaker said no or not? Oh, gosh. Okay, hang on, because I got to fix my thing. Hold on. Okay, sorry, I had to take that. Hold on. So why, if she's asking to go and she's 27, I don't understand that.
What's on your wrist, Nicole? What's on your wrist?
I'm taking it out.
No, you can leave it. Who put those there?
I don't know.
You don't know?
This is horrible.
Are we gonna have dinner tonight?
I'm sure you'll have some dinner, yeah. You hungry? Yeah, you hungry?
She still hadn't even had dinner. Like I said, she is very frail. Very frail. You can hear that okay, right?
I want pizza.
No pizza? Okay.
Nicole asks for food several times, also requests to go to the hospital. The officers and later paramedics think that that is a good idea, even if just to get checked out. But there's confusion about who needs to give permission for Nicole to go.
I don't understand how you can tie that person up and then still pull power of attorney. That's bull. There's no way that should still be viable. There's got to be something. There's got to be something.
Wasn't there anything they could do? This doesn't make any sense to me. Wasn't there anything they could do? Why couldn't they take her? Okay, this is the caretaker here.
That there was a resident tied up in this carport back here, behind the back on a chair with no one supervising her, just tied up.
Okay. Well, sometimes we have several people in the house that if there's any occasions, they have to try to protect the ones that's safe. Now, I'm not sure which person it might be, but it's a possibility that we do have one that does hit, and she will run away. So sometimes they restrain her, but I don't think that it's...
Well, I mean, this isn't...
So she's saying, me too, Danny. So she's saying that, yes, occasionally we have people, residents in the house that hit or do something like that, and they are restrained. But the neighbor said he had heard her calling for help for hours, tied up out in the cold.
Medical restraints. This is like a piece of fabric, like a cloth, tied to behind the back to a metal chair in an open carport. There's nothing medical about that whatsoever.
Well, if this is the one, Nicole, we have a client that lives here. Nicole, she often get away. So she will fight, she will hit, and for her safety, sometimes they do restrain her. So, and we do have orders from the doctor.
So Desiree.
So they have orders to the doctor, from the doctor, she's saying to medically restrain this woman, 27 years old, medically restrain her. Those were not medical restraints. And do you think that the doctor said you can tie her up outside? For some reason, I don't think so.
After a certain amount of medicine, we could only give her, she only has an order for a certain amount of medicine for anxiety within a certain amount of time. So when she's having these behaviors, it's not like we have authorization to just give her this medication.
Well, wait. Don't you think that she said medicine for anxiety? Medicine for anxiety. That doesn't make any sense, right? If she's having anxiety, I wouldn't think that tying her up in a chair is going to help her anxiety, but I don't know.
So the only other offense we have is to separate her. And if she's throwing, or if she's hitting, or if she's biting, then we have to restrain her. And it's not so much just for her, it's for everybody's safety, And that's what she was doing.
Okay. So now what they're trying to say is she was in the house. She was hitting, slapping, causing chaos. So they couldn't give her medicine again. And so they tied her to a chair with cloth rope type things. Doesn't make any sense, right?
When they have behaviors, we have orders to restrain them.
So is there orders that say that she's to be tied on a wood pillar?
Well, it's not. It doesn't say a specification to a wood pillar outside in a chair. But wherever the situation is, if that's where the option was,
I'm pretty
then
sure the doctor's not going to write an order to tie somebody up outside.
Me
it's
neither,
not an order to
ma'am.
tie anybody up
Is there an
anywhere.
order in that book that says tie her up outside?
It's not an order to say to tie them out anywhere in
There's
specification.
medical restraints
But-
that doctors use.
But if it's correct, if there are restraints, so if there are behavior, and she does have an order, if there are activities to where she's harmful to herself, or hurting, in threat of hurting some of the other clients,
Okay.
then of course we have orders to restrain her.
With medical restraints or with scarves?
whether it's, and I'm not sure. No, it's not. It's whatever you have to restrain her with at that time.
Wait. Do you guys believe that? Do you guys believe the doctor said restrain her any way you have to? This is way over. We're not even done with it because this girl passes away. This girl passes away.
You know. And I'm not being difficult. I'm just trying to explain to you our situations in that same aspect.
I guess the way I look at it is if you are a behavioral facility, you should have other methods of dealing with this besides tying them up outside.
Thank you.
If that's what you specialize in,
And that's
is
the
behavior,
least. That's the
you don't
last.
tie people up outside.
That's the last. And I don't
Call
think
law
that.
enforcement if there is something that severe to where you have to. If you feel you have to tie a person up outside because you are that worried for the safety of them and the safety of the people in the home, then at that point you pick up the phone, you say, "Hey, I need 911 here."
But Teresa
Oh my gosh. This is just a lot. And like I said, I'm not going to go through all of it. I want to get to the point where law enforcement has to go back for a call that someone is unalive.
Does the group home have guardianship of Nicole? What about power of attorney? Does Nicole herself have any agency?
She's
In the end, paramedics
27.
looked at the documentation that she had and determined she had authority over Nicole's medical and dental care. So Teresa
Wow.
refused to allow Nicole to go to the hospital.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so her family did give her all justification to do whatever they needed to do. So law enforcement is called back. Let me get to a certain point here. Oh my goodness, this is nuts. Poor girl. Hang on.
Did you tell them you had power of attorney and said no?
No, I did not tell them I had a power of attorney. Now, to the fact I explained all of that to them.
Now, she's saying she didn't tell him she had power of attorney. That's what she's saying now. So she's backpedaling right there. I didn't tell him I had power of attorney over her. And if she did not have power of attorney over her, why would they say that, number one? And why wasn't she taken to the hospital?
What we have is this right here. They took pictures of what I have. They was asking me about guardianship. I told them that I did not have guardianship over Nicole because Nicole on the plan of care. This is what we have from our state office for Nicole.
The only issue I see right now is if in fact, it was my understanding, and I may be wrong, it was my understanding that EMS told them that they're not allowed to take her to the hospital. It's my understanding. And if that's the case, and I can easily go back and look at all the videos. If that's the case, then we're gonna have an issue. If it's not the case, then I don't see that we're gonna have an issue. Only because any kind of medical intervention between that night and today may have changed things, maybe not. I don't know.
Okay. This is a crazy case. But the only person that suffered was Nicole. Now, after the fact, she tells law enforcement that placing Nicole in a chair outside is not a common practice. The incident on November 23rd, 2023 was the first and only time that happened. That's Thanksgiving, right? Yeah, she can have her whole business shut down. She sure can. So the inconsistencies are there. So her cause of death was combined drug toxicity, fluoxetine and topramate. Okay, but I thought she wasn't allowed to give the medication like that. They didn't even contact the family of her passing. They learned about it from the funeral home. Wow, this lady's in trouble. This lady's got to be in trouble. There's just no way that can happen. So, they are charging, she's being charged. Count 1, medical malpractice, wrongful death against defendant beyond the group home. Count 2, no wait, that's count 3. Hold on, I'm not good at this. You guys know that. Hold on, I'm not good at this. Hold on.
Wrongful death against Beyond Expectations, LLC. Medical malpractice, wrongful death against Teresa L. Williams. Civil false imprisonment against Beyond Expectations, LLC. Abuse, neglect, and exploitation of a vulnerable adult against Beyond Expectations, LLC through its employees. And then abuse, neglect, and exploitation of a vulnerable adult against Teresa L. Williams.
Okay. That is all the charges, you guys. All the charges. This little girl was given too much medication. How did that happen? How did that happen if she turned around and was telling them that they had and I'm not going to show it no more. Wow, this doesn't make any sense, does it? Doesn't make any sense. So they couldn't give her medicine, you know, so they tied her to the chair. But yes, she ends up passing away from being over medicated. How does that make any sense? Maybe they felt like they didn't want to restrain her like that again, so maybe they just kept medicating her. This is sad. This is so sad. I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm going to start finding a few happy cases to talk about, because I talk about so much sad stuff over here. I really do. But the few channels who do try to keep the kids' names out there, somebody always has something to say about it, you know? Somebody always has something to say about it. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know. I wish I did, but I don't. I just don't know. Like I said, Summer's 4-year mark's coming up. Michael Bond, July. He was in July. Summer was in June. Michael was in July. Then we have Sebastian Rogers still missing. There's a bunch of other children that's still missing. I could talk about 20 kids at one time. I really could. They don't stop. It doesn't stop at all. At all. And I could talk, you know, I might do a live where I'm going to catch everybody up on the Sean Combs, you know, P. Diddy stuff. That case is just really overwhelming. I still need to check on Madeline Soto's case and see when Stephen Stearns goes to court. That should be coming up soon. The Daniel Callahan, that case should be coming up soon. They did find him capable of, being tried. He tried to use his mental state, saying that he was on Prozac. That didn't work out for him. He will be standing trial for the unaliving a woman, her young daughter, and trying to do, bad things with the 6-year-old that did survive and did go to family, which was that was a wonderful part of that. So, H. Davis, I thought you said you and Sherry made up, because it didn't look that way. Did not look that way, my friend. Okay. All righty. You do you, man. You do you. For real. It didn't sound like it. Well, you guys will figure it out. You will figure it out. But like I said, thank you so much for sending me the Facebook on Josie Wells, who yeah, you guys, I've really got to think about that. I know that he wants to be adopted, but I've got to think about that, because am I showing this? Would I be showing this because of hoping someone to see it and possibly adopt him because of the type of, and I'm not even in a community, period. I don't consider myself in any way, shape, or form in any kind of community, whatever they want to call themselves. But it's sad to me that there are going to be people who are going to try to be from the Summer Wells community that will try to somehow get with this young man only to ask questions about, the family that he had before trying to be adopted. And I truly hope that somebody adopts him and, somebody kind that isn't doing it just, to be close with him because of his sister. So I truly hope that for this young man. I truly do. But yes, he is older. You're right. He's older. A lot of people don't like to adopt older children. And we cannot say what kind of care they've gotten since CPS took them. We've heard that they were all in a foster home and was being treated very nicely, but we don't know. We don't know. CPS hasn't told us anything about it, anything at all. So that's the reason I'm not going to show it over here. Not because I don't care, because I do. I really do. But like I said, a lot of the people who watch my channel or come to my channel are part of the Summer Wells community. And I hope you guys, somebody's going to play it. There's going to be somebody who plays it for sure. And you know, to each their own. I don't have a problem with that, but I just can't do it over here. So I'm sorry, you guys, that I can't do it over here. But you can go to, I'll tell you where you can go. Hang on. Because I don't want to. Go to the Tennessee Kids Belong. Tennessee Kids Belong right there. And watch it, you guys. Watch it yourselves. Watch it yourselves. How do you feel about that, Dawn and Candace? How do you feel about that? Your own son is on an adoption site looking for a good home. How do you feel about that? Wasn't your fault, was it? Some other dude. It's some other dude's fault. And I have a lot I could say about this, but, you know, nobody cares what I say anyway, so not at all. Only time people care about what I say is when I'm getting shitty with somebody, or, you know, people are fucking talking about me and acting foolish, and, you know, this is the thing. I don't care what anybody says about me. I don't have time for that foolishness. I really don't. I don't have time, and I don't care. I do not care. My health means more to me than some rock gut scallywags out here on YouTube that think they have power over people. Only I have power over me. And each and every one of my mods and subs are the only people that have power over themselves. So there, you scallywags. For sure. For sure, for sure. I'm not on here to win a freaking popularity contest. I don't need to. Either you like me or you don't. Whatever. To each their own. But I am going to get off here because I do have things to do. But like I said, my heart doctor's appointment went so good. I was so nervous, you guys. Very nervous. So, for sure. But it went really good. So I am really happy about that. And then it started raining, and I'm like, I can't get shit done when it's raining. So, yeah, you too, H. You too. And thank you for sending that to my Facebook. I really appreciate that. I really do. Yes, I do agree they should. The charges that group home have against them, absolutely, they need to be charged. They need to be charged. They were neglectful to her, and so we'll see where that goes. We'll see where that goes. For sure. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I've been on here an hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to get my butt off here. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Poppy. I appreciate you so much. I really do. I want you to know that. I appreciate all you guys. I really do. And we're going to keep doing us over here. We're going to have some fun. We're going to keep talking about missing children. And if somebody's got a problem with it, I don't know what to tell them. I'm not here for those people. I am not here for those people. I am here for me and y'all. Okay? For anybody who's interested. If I'm talking about something that somebody's not interested in, hey, okay, fine. You don't have to sit over here and watch. For sure. And I do appreciate you guys very much. Thank you again, Poppy. I do appreciate you, lady. All right, getting my butt off here. Everybody have a great day. I've got to get it. I am going to be getting a roast ready. And let me tell you guys, it's not easy to get a roast together. It's actually pretty complicated. You don't just, I mean, you have to go through and find funny things that people are saying. And it is a job. It is a job. But we're due for a roast. Whoop, whoop. So we're going to have some fun. But thank you guys. I appreciate you. I'm going to get off here. Have a great afternoon. Go do you. And I will catch you all later. Peace out, guys. Thanks again. I appreciate you.